Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Smith and it is the Monday before Halloween. So we are just 2 days away. 2 days away, it's this Wednesday. I'm excited. And this Monday Mayhem I'm going to be talking about some things that have happened to me past couple weeks. I've been pretty bad at recording videos and uploading because, just a few weeks, about a month ago, we said goodbye to Zaylee, so we actually did get her back. We got our paw print back, we got the rainbow bridge, so she's home with us now. We got her back, I think, 2 weeks after I posted that video. So, they said it was about 3 to 4 weeks until we would get her back. I got my nails done for Halloween, just like last year. Let me think. Oh yeah, so the big thing that I wanted to kind of talk about in this video was, I went to, my second haunted house ever. The first one I went to was, I'd probably say 3 years ago. Probably about 3 years ago. And it was with my two older sisters. We went to one here in Utah. So Utah has a lot of them. I mean, everywhere has a lot of haunted houses. But Utah has a lot. Like, we have Fear Factory, Asylum 49, the Circus, Haunted Circus. We have Cornbelly's Fright, what is it called? Insanity Point. We have Frightmares at Lagoon. Like, we have a ton. There's so many. But my first one we went to was, at Cornbelly's Insanity Point. We went there, and we did the clown one there. And that was the first one I ever did. That one was it wasn't not scary. Now that I look back at it, it wasn't scary. Then again, I also had my eyes closed for pretty much the entire ride. The entire time, because it was a maze. And at first there were strobe lights, so I had to close my eyes. So, little history. I used to have seizures. I had them from when I was 7 until I was 12. And my doctors actually didn't know exactly what caused them. So I had to be careful of all of the triggers, because it's not a matter of if they come back, it's a matter of when. So I always have to be careful. If I have a high fever, I have to take it easy, because I could have a high fever seizure. If I don't get enough sleep, I could have a seizure because of lack of sleep. If I see a strobe light, I could have a seizure because of the strobe light. Like, I have to be careful of every single trigger that triggers a normal seizure, because they don't know which one truly triggers mine. I haven't had one since I was 12, and I'm 20 now, so it's been like 8 years. But, it's better to be safe than sorry. So, just this year, on the not last Tuesday, but the Tuesday before, so like 2 Tuesdays ago, 2 weeks ago, or something like that, maybe a week ago. It was a week. Oh no, it was a week. So it was just last Tuesday. Last Tuesday, we went to Fear Factory here in Utah. Fear Factory's address is 666. I'm not even kidding. Look at it, even has it on the fucking building. It's spray painted 666 West. Not even kidding. That is the address. I'm like, holy fuck. And it's actually haunted. That building is actually haunted. And I was like, oh. So we went, it wasn't, like, walking in, wasn't scared. I got scared once walking in, and then I was on edge for the rest of the night. We're walking, and Cody, Bianca, and all of my friends that were with me see this guy with, like, a crate over his head, but I'm all the way in the back. As I start to turn the corner, he jumps out, and he comes around the corner, and it freaks me out. So I jumped high. I jumped really high, and then, I trotted forward, around everyone else. I was like, no, 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 no. It was, honestly, I had fun. Immediately that night, though, that night was terrifying for me, because I had a pure, full-blown panic attack. So when we got there, we had to sign a form, electronic form, just saying, us as, the actors and that, we're not allowed to hit the act, we were basically signing a form, basically understanding the rules and all of that. But, when we got in there, we asked one of the girls, we were like, like, this is a weird question. Like, I literally said that, like, I know this is a weird question, but approximately how many strobe lights do you guys have? Like, how many that are really, really bad? And she was like, there's 3 sections that are really, really bad. And and I'm getting there. So there's 3 sections that are really, really bad. There's one right after the clown section, and then she's like, and I don't know where the other 2 are. She's like, I don't really know where the other 2 are, but they're really short sections, like 20 steps or so, and then you're out of them. And I'm like, okay. And so and the other person who was there, she's like, if you have problems with strobe lights, have someone else who can handle them guide you. And I was like, okay. And so, like, we're all in line, I did my makeup like Harley Quinn from Suicide Squad, total side note, like, so I was sitting there, and we were in line, and this one guy who's going up around people scaring him, and he sees my makeup, and he's like, oh, I love your makeup, and I'm like, thank you, and then he's like, who should I scare next? Should I scare these 2 girls who were a part of my group? And so he shakes like a can and makes him jump. And that was karma paid me back really bad. So they all decided, so I was with 4 other people, so it was just me and 4 other people, so it was 5 people in total in our group. And all 4 of them decided to get they paid extra to where the actors could touch them and grab them. And I was the only one who didn't, because I was like, I'm not gonna do that, because if I get separated from them, like, I won't have anyone to guide me. So we were going through, and I'm like, I am clinging on to my friend Cody for dear life, clinging on to him. Like, the very first thing, like, we're walking down, like, these first steps, and this, like, giant monster swings out of this doorway, and there was an immediate strobe light at the very beginning, and that freaked me out. I was like, oh my god! Like, I started freaking out. Like, I started having, like, a miniature panic attack at the beginning. Just, like, couldn't breathe. And Cody's like, you're gonna be okay, Sam. Like, and he all of a sudden says, he's like, you better not rip my jacket with those nails. And I'm like, I'm not going to. I'm not holding them that hard. Like, I was freaking out. And so, like, we kept walking. And my favorite section, though, to even just look at was the vampire section. Like, that part didn't scare me, like, at all. I looked at it, and I was like, dude, I love this area. Like, this area is cool. Like, I loved everything about the vampires. That area was legit my favorite. It's like we're walking through, and then we get to the clown section. And oh boy, which I think was right after the vampires. I believe so. It was pretty close to the vampires. And there was one point where we were walking, and there was a floor, but it was like a metal grated floor, and my friend Cody was jumping along with the actor, so they were jumping up and down on the thing, and I was like, Cody! Like, I was yelling at him, Cody, I'm gonna kill you! He was such a dick. I was like, Cody, knock it off. I was like, you're gonna get us kicked out. And then, so then we got to the clown section anyway, and they give us these 3D glasses because we need them. And because some of the pictures are all 3D, and then we get to this, like, second, so the first clown gives us the 3D glasses, we go around, we get to, like, this midpoint, and this is where they separate us. So because those 4 had the touch thing, they all got grabbed and taken away. So I was standing there alone. So two of my friends, the 2 girls, got pushed up against the wall being choked. Everyone there liked to just choke the girls. Like, it was really funny. Not funny, but that's, like, what they always did. They just were choking them. And then the boys, I don't really understand the boys didn't get really touched all that much. But anyway, so they made the boys go down one hallway. They had Bianca and my other friend Hannah up against the wall, and then the dude looks at me and he's like, you better get going. And I'm like, I tried to tell him, I was like, no, I was told that there's strobe lights at the end, and he's like, the only strobe light I have is the one in my hand, so you better get going. So I'm like, and he made me go down, like, this little tube where you have to crawl on your hands and knees. I freaked out and rushed through that thing. I didn't know if there was gonna be someone coming out from the sides or anything, so I just crawled really fast and was like, I'm out of here. And then I get out of the tube, and Cody and our other friend Trevor, they're nowhere to be found. And I'm like, oh my god, Like, I'm alone, I'm alone, I'm alone, I'm alone. And I just start freaking out. I'm walking through, because you can't really stop unless there's, like, a medical emergency. So, like, I had to keep walking, and, like, people kept jumping out, scaring me, and, like, everything. Like, I'm bawling my eyes, and then there's one clown who's like, no tears, no tears. And I was like, I'm all by myself, I lost my friends. And I just kept walking. And then once I could feel like I was getting closer to the end, that's when my full-blown panic attack set in. And I started just crying, like, tears streaming down my face. Like, I was already crying a lot when I was walking through. But once I got there, it was because I had none of my friends. None of them. And so I didn't know where they were or anything. And and then I finally ran into a clown who was willing to listen, and I told her, I was like, we ran into someone at the very beginning, like at the very, very beginning, before we even came in the haunted house, that there was a really bad strobe light area right after the clown section, and I have epilepsy. I told her that. I was like, I have epilepsy. I can't, like, I have to be walked through. And I got separated. Like, I told her exactly what happened. She's like, okay, we're gonna find someone to walk you through, okay? And I was like, okay. And so they went and got someone to walk me through. And that was so sweet of them. They didn't have to. Actually, I mean, they kind of, in a way, they kind of felt like they had to, but they obviously, in reality, didn't. Like, that clown didn't have to listen to me. And, because, I mean, I did end up running back in with my friend, running into my friends, the two girls. After the boys got separated from us, we did not see them for the rest of the night. We had no clue where they were. The only time we found them was when we all got out of the haunted house and we got done, and that's when we ran back into them. But, so they grabbed, another person who was a part of the haunted house who was, I guess, like, taking a break or something, I don't know. And he walked me through the first section of strobe lights, and I, was alone again, still didn't have anyone. And then I ran back into Bianca and Hannah, and as we're, like, walking through this one section, we run into another strobe light section, the second one. So the first one was right after the clown section. The second one, my friends kept going because another group was coming right behind us, so they had to keep going, and I had to turn around and ask for someone to walk me through again. Because my friends basically had to just keep going, like, they didn't want to block the way, because this way was not big enough for multiple people to stand in. So, and it's, if you've ever been in a haunted house, they had the inflatable sides, so it was tight. It wasn't, like, squeezing tight, but it was closed off, you really couldn't see much. So I turned around and I asked, an actor was coming out of this gate section, and I asked him, I was like, I have epilepsy and there's a really bad, like, we could see the strobe light right after it. So I told him, I was like, I have epilepsy and I was like, I don't have my friends with me, and he's like, okay, I'll walk you through. And he gets the group right behind me to stop, and then he turns to me, like, it was so, like, this guy was raised right. I think this is what he said, I swear this is what I heard, but so he turns around to the group, and he says, stop. He, like, yells at them to stop, and, like, really scared, like, wait here, and then he turns to me and he's like, it'd be my pleasure to walk you through. And I was like, oh, and like, I grabbed his hand and I just closed my eyes as tight as I could and just stared at the ground. And he's like, you got to close your eyes really, really tight, okay? And I was like, okay. So he walked me through that time and it was really nice. And then we're walking through this green area again, ran right back into Bianca and Hannah because they got stopped multiple times. Even when I was with them, they got stopped. And it was, there was one clown section, oh my gosh, total side note, I just remembered this, there was one point in the clown where it was like, there was just this tarp creating a triangle where you had to go right there, and I was like, oh, there's gonna be someone right at the end of there, I knew immediately, and I was like, I don't wanna, and I had to keep going, and I was just like, and sure enough, a clown opened it and scared the crap out of me. It's like, oh my gosh! Like, I'm just sitting there with my fist clenched up into my face. Yeah. But back to where we're walking through, and then I just had to be walked through one other time. That time I don't remember much of because my brain was kind of, it felt like the adrenaline was really, like, I had a lot of adrenaline by the end of that. And so by the end of it, I just felt numb. My brain just hurt, everything hurt, and I was like, I just want to go lay down. So that third time, I don't remember much of it. I do remember just turning around. There was a guy with a gas mask on who had just scared me, or kind of made me scared. And I told him, I was like, I just saw strobe lights, like, and I don't have any friends with me. And he walked me through. He or she, I don't know. They had a gas mask. They sounded like a dude, but it could have just been because of the gas mask. So, yeah. And so they walked me through, and then that was it. That was the last strobe light. And honestly, though, it was really nice, but again, towards the end, I wasn't getting scared at all. I just wanted to be done. My heart hurt. Like I said, everything hurt. So, we're getting to the very last guy, and he's right at the door, and he's, like, pushing, like, an axe to me, and I'm like, hello, I'm just gonna continue backing away from this. And then you open a door for me to go through, and then that was the end. That was the very last thing. It was funny, like, he just kept going, and I was like, no, I don't want it to touch me. And there was a chainsaw guy. He had a chainsaw, and when he came towards me, he came towards my side, but I moved, like, I kind of, like, oh, what's the word? Like, I moved my side, like, away from the blade, and it just kind of, like, created, like, an arch, and it was like, don't hit me with the blade. I don't want to die. But still just kept walking, like, it didn't scare me at all, and I was just like, because the reason that this chainsaw guy didn't scare me was because he started walking past me to scare the rest of the group, because he missed the rest of the group, because they were switching out. So he had to go scare the end of the group, and then me, so he walked past me really fast, and so I was like, oh, he's got the chainsaw, okay. Like, that's why it didn't scare me. It was really funny, though. But yeah. So that was my experience, and immediately after, I was saying, like, I'm never coming back. Like, there was a bounce back pass that made it cheaper. They were like, hey, let's go again tomorrow, and I'm like, I'm not going. Like, I'm not coming back, ever. I'm not gonna come back. And it was just because my adrenaline was pumping, and I was just exhausted. But yeah. This is a really long story. I like telling long stories. Long stories have always been my favorite thing to do. So thank you for enduring this 17 long minute video, Monday Mayhem. Jeez, I think this is the longest Monday Mayhem I've ever done. Even with the, when I went on a trip. Like, I think this is the longest video. Actually, no. I don't know. But anyway, thank you for enduring through this long story. Let me think. I can't really think of anything else much to talk about, because that was the intense part. Like, I had such a bad feeling, like, oh, I remember, so there was one point, so we're walking through, like, this swampy area, which, that place was really cool looking. I do remember this. But there was a guy who showed up with a pig head, and it reminded me of, Roanoke, like, American Horror Story, Roanoke, the season Roanoke, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, I didn't freak out like that, but in my head I was like, hey, Roanoke, but the way it popped up out of the ground, like, that's what was freaky. So there was just a bunch of fog, like, on the ground, and it popped up, and it came up, and when it, like, I couldn't tell if it was, animatronic or not, but that was creepy, and then when it disappeared, I couldn't see it, and I was like, that was creepy. But, yeah. Honestly, that was the only Halloween haunted house I'm doing this year. I'm not gonna do any more this year, just because, you know, I don't feel like having a heart attack and dying. So, but yeah. I hope you guys have a wonderful Halloween. Please be safe. Let me know if you enjoyed me telling you guys this story. And, yeah. Also look forward to tomorrow's video. I plan on uploading a video tomorrow. Maybe 2. I kind of want to do 2. I don't know. I know I'm recording another video today, which that one I'm really excited for. Just kind of like a fun video. So, alrighty. I think that's it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!